Ace Combat 8 should have a dedicated 1v1 game mode. I'll open up this video with a brief summary of my experience in the flying genre. Not to flex, but just to kind of put my experience into context so that you guys understand where I'm coming from here. My most played game remains Ace Combat 7. I have about 1,400 hours in multiplayer flight time, so that's flight time actually fighting. I think I have about 1,000 hours in other flying games, like DCS, War Thunder, IL-2, you name it. Nuclear Option, that's a really fun one. And in each of these games, I always gravitate towards the 1v1s and dueling. It kind of gives you that martial arts feel of like being trapped in a box, and the only goal is to beat the other person in front of you. And actual fighter pilots, which I'm not one, use this scenario a lot, actually, to the point where they have genuine competitions, military-wide competitions, like the Mother Trophy or the Top Gun Trophy, if you want to call it that. And there is an extensive community of duelists even on Ace Combat. Anyone who's played the game for 500 hours or more in multiplayer or interacted with the community knows people, like they know that one untouchable guy on their platform or in their friend group. In real life, for example, you had legends such as Dale Snodgrass, who were notorious for pushing their aircraft past their perceived limits in order to win these sorts of fights. And that gives it almost like a martial arts mystique, right? If you haven't seen it yet, I recommend you Google Snort F-14 versus F-18. And if we use martial arts as an example, they've spawned two main genres of arcade games: beat-em-ups and fighting games. Beat-em-ups, of course, being the kind of casual, single-player experience that emulates being a badass taking out groups of opponents. Whereas fighting games are meant to cater to the competitive player, someone who wants to improve at something like a video game, almost in an athletic way. Almost like what real fighter pilots are trying to do when they do 1v1 style scenarios and competitions. Ace Combat has always focused on mastering the beat-em-up aspect of gameplay, but I would argue that polishing the fighting game side of the Ace Combat community is more important. Almost no one is going to spend 2,000 plus hours mastering Ace Combat 7's campaign. Like, once you S-rank everything on the hardest difficulty with the F4E with no parts, you really have nothing left to improve at. You kind of just go play Project Wingman at that point. And this is where Ace Combat has a unique opportunity in the genre. It's going to be crossplay, something that's considered a requirement for new fighting games. The 3-platform crossplay thing is also completely unique in the genre, by the way. I think only War Thunder does it outside of Ace 8. It could be wrong, though. So let's say I could wave a magic wand and all my dreams come true. I'm going to rank these in order of importance for the features for what this game mode should have. And number 1 is anti-cheat and frequent bans. Because if we're going to have crossplay with PC, we need to make sure we account for what PC can do. And right now, in Ace Combat 7, they can do a hell of a lot. That's not to say I'm anti-modding. Modding has kept the community alive quite a bit as well. But there are players out there who use mods to gain an advantage against other people. And this is why I stay on Xbox. I stay away from PC for this reason. Number 2 is the ability to set connection restrictions to who you connect to. This is because bad connection in Ace Combat 7 wins you games. A couple of players have actually exploited this outright on Xbox using VPNs. I've messed around with it and I can confirm, yeah, if you're glitching around the map, you're unhittable. And on your screen, by the way, everyone else is flying straight and they also take damage based on your client, so you just kind of fire missiles at bots and win. Number 3, the ability to queue up for special weapons on and off. If no other balance changes are made to this game, this would be the bare minimum I would want. The only goal in a ranked 1v1 is to win, and if both players in a duel wanted to win in Ace Combat 7, it would just be XO2 with EML. And honestly, no hate to people who play like that and like to EML duel each other. I just don't think players new or experienced really want that to be the main focus. Number 4, standardized health and scoring based on damage. I think that a standard missile should do the same amount of damage to every aircraft, whether that's 50% or 25%, I don't really care, as long as it's standardized across everything, and same with guns. I also think that the scoring system should be based off of just the amount of damage you do. The way that Ace Combat 7 calculates score is super unbalanced and super inconsistent. It's just garbage system, just throw it out, man. Number 5, for all my energy boys out there, the ability to queue for PSM on and off. Playing without PSM in Ace Combat 7 is much closer to traditional dogfighting doctrine. It's not the same, obviously, it's an arcade game, right? But I think giving people the option to play that way is important because a lot of the aircraft in the game can't post-stall. And so people who like the Tomcat or like the F-16 or like the Typhoon or name this, name that, they need a place to go, right? Number 6, fixing the analog stick to have the same maximum output as keyboard. Fun fact, if you pitch and roll at the same time on keyboard, the game reads the input as 100% pitch and 100% roll, whereas on analog stick you can only reach about 70% of each. This has caused a couple people on Xbox actually to switch to flying with D-pad, which reduces your accuracy but increases your maximum performance. This isn't like the box controller thing that fighting games are going through. This is a little bit worse. I mean, on Xbox, if you wanted max performance, you'd have to commit to literally like an Elite Series 2 that gives you the option to even swap. And locking out performance to a premium product like that is just lame. So I think this would be an easy fix, just kind of balance things out a little bit. Most people, when they play Ace Combat, they play with a controller anyway, so I think catering to the main audience is important, while also having the option to play on keyboard still be there. Other than the performance difference that exists now, there's really no difference between the two. I don't even see why you'd choose keyboard if it didn't have that advantage. Like maybe faster cancels, but that kind of thing is trivial. That sums up what I think would be actually needed in this sort of mode. The rest are kind of quality of life features. Having all weapons be disabled until the first pass. This is consistent with actual military dogfighting competitions and training exercises. It would basically prevent people from just running away on round start, which kind of defeats the whole point. Smaller maps for this game mode would also be awesome, just for the same reason, you know, stop people from running. Consistent game balance with a balancing team. Even if you make all the changes I had listed before, there would still be a clear hierarchy of viability, at least based on Ace Combat 7's roster. The MiG-21, for instance, is one of the best energy fighters in the game, while the American aircraft of that era, the F-4, sits like dead last. It's the worst plane in the game. And with special weapons, it gets even worse. See XO2 EML or Quam Raptor. Fix the fucking gun sight. And finally, a ranked elo system with rewards. This would incentivize players to pick up the game mode. It would show progress of someone's improvement. There's countless benefits to this. Something like Tekken system would just work, which Namco owns anyway, so just throw that in there. And yeah, that's basically it. I mean, I know the chances of this kind of game mode getting into Ace Combat 8 are pretty slim. That's kind of why I made this video. Like, co-op is all but confirmed, we just haven't seen any gameplay of it yet. But let me know what you guys think. Would this mode be good for the game's health, bad for the game's health? Maybe you have a better idea for a feature, or maybe even a game mode that you'd like to throw in. I especially want to see what the more known players of this community think about this. Regardless, I'll see you guys in the skies of Ace Combat 8. Peace.
Okay, so when you say fun with a dogfight, which I totally agree, are you more of a two-circle guy in this kind of fight? Is it more of a rate fight, or is it more of a one-circle radius fight?
It's do whatever it takes to kill him.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You pass head on. The way these things do start about 4 miles apart.
March, yeah.
You go by each other, I don't know, 100 feet apart. Oof, 200 feet, whatever speed you want. It's your fight. Yeah. Do whatever you want, and fight's on. As soon as the nose is passed, the fight's on, and you do whatever it takes. And everybody usually would turn into the guy. Well, you keep your eye on him, and you can tell after a while when he comes into the cockpit to see what his speed is.
And how would you know that?
The airplane just relaxes. You can see it.
So he eases the G.
Yeah, when he's pulling the